Hello, you lovely people, and thank you for once again visiting Entirely English, the online English school and the video channel which looks at the British culture. In this series, we are looking at British manners, and today's is about manners on the road. We have covered manners on the street before, that was with pedestrians. So this is the drivers. Before we get into that, I want to, kind of go off on a tangent, still on the subject of driving, but driving sales. Now, as you might remember, if you watched the previous video, if you haven't, go and watch it now. I did mention that I get a lot of emails and messages from people saying, your channel is great, but you don't have a lot of subscribers. I am an SEO expert and I can help you, obviously, for a fee. As I said in the last video, I don't have the money to pay somebody to do the SEO, so I asked them not to write. But I did get a very nice comment on my last upload from MD Arif Sikda, who is an SEO expert, but she didn't try to sell her services. Instead, she just left a very nice comment, which proves to me that she watched the video to the end. And for that reason, and the very nice comment, I'm putting her YouTube link in the description below. So if you need SEO help, click on that. Okay, now back to our manners on the road. If you remember at the very beginning, again, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch. I mentioned that manners were the non-enforced rules of behaviour. That means they're not governed by laws, just by social pressures. This is slightly different on the road. Many manners are enforced by regulations. Things like indicators. Americans call them blinkers. We call them indicators because they are on the car to indicate you are turning. And the highway code, which is the rule book for drivers, says that you must indicate before you get to your turn. Unfortunately, it seems that driving teachers these days are not teaching this, and we get a lot of people indicating as they turn, which is totally pointless. Indicate you are going to turn before you get to the junction. But as I said, things like that, seat belts, not speeding, those are in the laws, so we don't need to cover them. I'm going to be looking at manners that are not covered by the law, but we accept and expect when we are driving. The first we are going to look at is giving way. Giving way means giving somebody else priority. So, for example, the law, you give way to traffic on the main road. If the road is going that way and you come to the road this way, you have to wait until there is a space before you can turn onto the road. You give way to the other traffic. And give way as manners means like when you're driving into town and you see a woman with her child, you might stop the car and give way to them, allow them to cross the road. That is good manners. You are being considerate of her with her children. Also, again, junctions. Maybe you're on the main road and you see somebody and they've been waiting for ages. You can see there's a long line of traffic ahead of you and they're sitting there waiting for a gap. There is no gap. You might slow down and let them go out in front of you. That is courtesy. It's good manners. It's a nice thing to do. And hopefully that has the knock-on effect, the domino effect. They will then do that for somebody else. And it's also important to give thanks. That person, when they pull out, should wave, or give a nod or something to indicate their thanks. It's very important. Somebody does something nice for you, do something nice in return. And while we're talking about those queues of traffic, don't tailgate. That means getting your car right up behind the person in front of you. It's aggravating for them. If you're a driver, you know when somebody's really close behind you, it makes you feel a bit nervous. Also, if they have to brake hard, there's going to be an accident. You need to leave a required distance between you and the person in front. It's just good manners not to put pressure on them and not to be in a situation where you might cause an accident. And similarly, if somebody tries to overtake you, that means pass you, don't speed up. That's just rude. Let them go past. In fact, if you can, slow down a bit so they can pull in quicker. If you speed up, you're going to cause a confrontation. You might cause an accident. They might have to brake and pull in behind you, and they might not be able to because another car might have filled that gap. Be considerate. If you are traveling so slow they need to speed up to go past you, let them past. It's just good manners. It's just logical. And talking about overtaking, if you're driving along and you see a funeral procession, don't overtake them, honk your horns, don't jump between each vehicle. It's not necessary. Even if you're in a hurry, they're not going to be going far. Let them have their moment. Remember, these people have lost somebody important to them. Be courteous, be considerate, show respect. On the subject of honking horns, that's when you go, rah, rah, or rah, rah, depends. They used to be in the center. It is occasionally acceptable. For example, you're at a traffic light and the person in front of you hasn't noticed the lights have turned green. Giving a quick meow just to alert them is an entirely acceptable thing, and they will appreciate it. They'll probably give you a wave and drive. Leaning on your horn or that is not acceptable. That is just rude. It's not their fault. They didn't see it happen. So don't be aggressive. Aggression is never a good thing. A little beep is also acceptable if you're driving down the road and you see a neighbour or a friend you haven't seen for a while. They're walking down the street. You beep, hey, that's fine. But beeping your horn late at night, beeping it continuously because the traffic's going slow, it doesn't accomplish anything apart from annoying other people. And as for nighttime, if you're in a residential area, think, even if it's just 8 o'clock at night, there could be children trying to sleep, and that is extremely rude, totally inconsiderate. There's no need for it. And on that subject, also loud music. These vehicles you hear going past, and their windows are shaking. I understand. We all understand. When you have a favorite piece of music, you want to turn the radio up. Think about where you are. Enjoy your music, but don't make other people enjoy it, because they won't. It's annoying. And again, late at night, going through a residential area, you're shaking the windows of the houses, causing the baby to wake up and start crying. Doesn't do anybody any good. Doesn't do you any good either. So always be considerate. And again, the same can be said. It's not so much on the roads, although sometimes it happens. People revving the engine. Sometimes they do it at traffic lights. There's no need for that. You're wasting fuel, you're annoying people, and you're probably making yourself angry. The worst offenders are those people who do it on residential estates. They have their car in the driveway and they're just sitting there revving the engine. Maybe it's in the middle of the afternoon and you think it doesn't affect anybody. There could be somebody on your street who works nights. They might be sleeping during the day, and they're not going to appreciate you revving your engine, playing your music loud maybe when you're working on the engine. You've got to be considerate. Consideration, manners are a very British thing, but unfortunately not every British person obeys the rules. So as a visitor to this country, we expect you to obey the rules, which is kind of unfair. But if you know the rules, you can go to the neighbour who's woken you up and say, "Excuse me, I'm trying to sleep. Could you turn it down? Could you stop revving the engine?" Most people will say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't think." You'll be okay. The revving the engine thing in the residential area doesn't happen so much with cars. It does happen a bit, particularly if say father and son are working on the engine. They have the radio blaring as well while they work. They forget there's other people. It's good to remind them. The worst offenders are motorcyclists. Now, I have nothing against motorcyclists. Hospitals love them because they love organ donors. But when you're sitting outside your house just revving the engine, I don't know why people do it. Maybe the vibration gives them excitement. Maybe there's that feeling of power, but it's unproductive, doesn't do anything for them, and it annoys everybody around them. So motorcyclists need to be careful. and they need to be careful on the road, and drivers need to be careful of motorcyclists on the road. It's not law, but it is common sense. Like, again, when you come to that junction, we had a series of adverts on television saying, think once, think twice, think bike.
If you imagine this is your car, then this is a motorcycle. When you drive up to a main road, it's easy to see other cars. But because a motorcycle is a third of the width of a car, he's very hard to see. But he's dead easy to hurt. Nasty. And that's why, at junctions, I'm asking you to stop, think once for cars, hold it, then think again for bikes. If you want to avoid this, think once, think twice, think bike.
It's easy to see the trucks and cars. Sometimes the bike you don't see, you pull out and bang. There's a terrible accident. So consideration of motorcyclists is quite important. Overtaking them and cyclists also. You need to leave a lot of room, particularly if you're in a big van or a truck. You drive past close to them, the wind is going to buffer them and they could get into a serious accident. You need to leave plenty of room. Unfortunately, when you're driving down the road and there's cyclists, in Britain we're not as developed as, say, Sweden, who have proper cycle paths. If we have a cycle path here, it's basically a red line drawn down the side of the road. It's not purpose-built. So cyclists now tend to travel in groups. And whereas in the past, if a car was coming, they'd form a single file so the car could go past. Now they tend to bunch up. You get 3 of them wide so that the car can't go past. I encountered this on a country road once, and I had to travel 3 or 4 miles, like 6 kilometers, at their stupid pace until there was a space where I could pass them. They are being inconsiderate. So it works both ways. The drivers have to be considerate of the bikes, give them plenty of room when they pass, and the cyclist should be considerate of the driver, particularly since the driver is paying the road tax, and that road is there because of the money they've spent. If you're a cyclist, you probably get very aggravated by this, but everybody should be considerate. Now, we mentioned accidents a couple of times, so there's 2 aspects to accidents. One is if you have an accident with somebody else. First thing people should do is take a breath. Be calm. Nothing is achieved by getting out of the car and screaming at the other person. Doesn't matter whose fault it was. Again, doesn't achieve anything, just makes everybody feel bad. So first of all, take that breath, be calm. Then make sure nobody's injured in your vehicle or the other person's vehicle. Is everybody okay? That's polite, that's consideration for other people. Then calmly exchange your details, your insurance details, contact details. Logically, everybody seems to have mobile phones these days. Take photographs of the accident site. This will help you if there's any dispute. I find it strange that, because I had students in Russia and Ukraine, when they have accidents, they always have to call the police. That puts a lot of workload on the police. In Britain, the police are the last resort. They're only called if there's this dispute, if it's a he did this, she did this, and there's no evidence, or if there's any injuries, if somebody's bleeding or ambulance needs to be called, the police will be called as well, because there's a bodily harm involved. So the rule is be calm. The other side of accidents is rubbernecking. This is when people slow down the car and they're having a look. Ooh, interesting. Now they want to see the blood and the gore and whatever else. It's understandable, it's human nature, but it has a couple of bad effects. One is it slows down all the traffic. Now, you should drive slowly past an accident anyway, but these people who travel really slowly at a walking pace to try to see as much as possible, they're causing massive tailbacks of traffic behind them. So that's inconsiderate. It's also disrespectful and embarrassing for the victims, the people involved in that accident, knowing that people are staring and gossiping about them. Imagine yourself in that situation. Yeah, take a glance. As I say, it's human nature, but don't ogle. Don't sit there and stare. get past, allow the other traffic to get past as well. Now you get to your destination, supermarket or whatever. Let's talk about parking etiquette. There are parking spaces, and you should park within the lines. That's basic sense. It's good manners not to park to one side and block the driver's door of the car you're next to. You've got to be considerate of other people. If your vehicle is too big to go into that space without causing problems for the other motorists, find another space. And at petrol stations, it's really rude to fill your car, fill the petrol, that's fine, go in to pay, and then spend half an hour doing some shopping in the petrol station. If you know you're going to be shopping, move your car, put it in the lay-by at the side, allow the next person to get to the pump, then go in and pay for your petrol and do your shopping. Basic courtesy. The last thing I want to talk about is flashing, and I don't mean it. On the car, you have the headlights. That's two white lights at the front. They have two settings. There's dip when the lights are facing down onto the road, and main beam when they're bright. The law and manners say when a car is coming towards you, you put your lights on dip so you don't dazzle the other driver. If the other driver is coming towards you and their lights are on main beam, you can flash yours to let them know. Now, the flashing of the lights is an interesting thing because there is what is done and what is law, apparently. So this came up in QI. I've mentioned QI before. Quiz show on television where they asked about flashing lights, and one of the people on the show gave the answer that I'm going to give you in a moment about the use of flashing lights, and he was told he was wrong because according to the European Union, when you say you're driving down the road, there's a parked car here, there's a car coming towards you, you stop here and you flash your lights. According to the European Union rules, that just means I am here. Be aware, I am here. And then a couple of weeks ago on the same show, they said flashing lights didn't mean anything. It was illegal. You shouldn't do it. The fact is, our manners means that flashing lights has, well, a couple of meanings. The common one is, for example, there's a parked car there. You drive this way. There's a car coming towards you. He might slow down and flash his lights. And that means, come on, you can go. The flashing the light says, come, I'm giving way to you. I'm letting you have a move. For example, again, driving down the road, this car's indicating right, slow down, flash your lights. That means you can go. I'll let you turn and then I'll continue. It's also used several other ways, like driving down the main road and a car coming towards you flashes his lights. Now it's a warning. This warning could be several things. Maybe your headlights are on main beam. Maybe there's a police checkpoint further down the road. So it's a warning. You don't know what it's a warning for, but you suddenly, oh, something's happening. I'll slow down. Make sure I'm doing the right speed limit. Listen, is there a flat tire or something? So it's a bit awkward because we don't know what the warning is, but particularly if you come around the corner and the policeman's there with the speed camera, you would appreciate it. And on that subject, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for stopping by. This video is about manners we use on the road. How much of that you will be able to use when you come to Britain, I don't know. But it could be useful, and I hope it is. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button. If you want to stay up to date with these videos, click subscribe. Please comment below if there's anything that I've mentioned that is different in your country, maybe the same in your country. And please do share them. Share this video and any others that you've enjoyed. And I look forward to sharing the next video with you. So take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye for now.